Violet Donnelly adjusted the brim of her fedora as she sauntered down the misty streets of Belmont, her stilettos clicking rhythmically on the wet cobblestones. Her crimson lipstick left a residue of courage, a mere facade against the chilling night air. Belmont was a city that never really slept. It just prowled. This night wasn't different from any other. The lantern-lit sidewalks hosted shadows, every one of them with a story. But Violet wasn't interested in just any story. She was hunting a particular tale of deceit, embezzlement, and heartaches. A freelance private investigator by trade, Violet had a knack for catching whispers, but tonight she wanted the screams. Earlier that morning, a wrinkled envelope was slipped under her office door, a photograph of a glamorous woman, an urgent scribble without a signature, and a simple yet dangerous invitation to dig deeper. Now, as she moved through the darkness, the soft hue of twilight silhouetted against the decrepit architecture of Belmont, Violet felt the thrill of the chase tightening around her bones. At the corner of Mercer and Fifth stood the Blue Parrot, a bar with a reputation that was sullied but royal in its own rights. The dame from the picture was said to frequent this haunt, draped in velvets and guarded secrets. The door creaked a tale as Violet pushed it open and slipped inside. The air was laden with smoke and the sullen notes of a jazz piano. She spotted her quarry immediately, a siren in emerald, the woman from the photograph, nursing a drink that looked as hard as her eyes. "Jasmine Lane," she muttered to herself as she approached the bar, the name having been whispered to her by sources she never revealed. "What's your poison?" asked the bartender, a grizzly man with more scars than teeth. "Information," Violet replied coolly, her eyes never wavering from Jasmine. "On her." She nodded slightly toward the emerald-clad figure. The bartender chuckled, a sound rough as gravel. "That one? She's trouble. More than you might want to handle, sweetheart." But Violet wasn't just any sweetheart. She flicked a golden coin towards him, a trick to loosen tongues. "She's in deep, too deep," the bartender confided after pocketing the coin. "Caught in bad business between her husband and the Delaney brothers. Over her pretty head, that one." With each revelation, the plot thickened, swirling around Violet like the cigarette smoke. Taking a seat beside Jasmine, she ordered a drink, biding her time. When the moment felt ripe, Violet leaned over, her voice a conspiratorial whisper. "Do you need an exit, Ms. Lane? Because I can provide one, but it'll cost you." Jasmine's gaze was a cocktail of surprise and relief, a hint of fear shaken in. "Who are you?" she breathed, a tremor in her words. "An investigator, and possibly your new best friend," Violet smiled, her lips a curve of dark promise. The conversation that followed was a dance of half-truths and full lies. After they parted, Violet's heart pounded with adrenaline. She had just made a deal with a femme fatale drowning in her secrets, and she was going to help her swim to the surface, for a price. But first, Violet had to survive the twisted trail she was on. Jasmine wasn't the only dangerous player in the game, and as the night unfolded, each shadow around her seemed to shift suspiciously. The Delaney brothers wouldn't take kindly to interference. They were predators masked as gentlemen. By the time dawn was breaking, Violet was one step ahead. The evidence was secure, a backup plan in place, but this was Belmont, where the night was always just beginning. And every solved case was merely an invitation to another. With her hat tipped low, Violet vanished into the first light, a silhouette ready to trace the next whispered call of the streets.